What's up, everybody? It's Neezy Baby 84 coming at you with the daily drive. So, I'm at the airport. I just went to the bathroom, got a drink, a Red Bull. It's Thursday, and technically, I was gonna be home tonight, chillaxing, because I didn't get home till like 3 in the morning from Gainesville last night. I've been testing the markets up there. Last week was very fruitful. I pulled close to $400 last Friday. A lot of that started with almost an $80 fare going up to Williston, which I know you don't know the area, but it's about an hour and change from where I'm at. And then I was tipped an extra $15 because dude wanted to go to McDonald's, and that was like at least solid 20 minute there. So he gave me $15, so $80. Went into Gainesville. It was only like a 20-25 minute drive. Instantly Friday, man, those college kids were out. Paint parties, frat parties, sorority parties, go to the bars, everything. So on and popping, all those surges was awesome. Yesterday I figured, okay, let me hit Ocala. I didn't do anything for an hour. Finally got a pickup. That was like $30 with the tip. And I was like, all right, let me get into Gainesville. Gainesville was busy, but it's midweek, so not a lot of surges. So a lot of those $4 to $6 fares, but I was busy the whole time. Did all right. Did like about 170. I guess I was, 6 to 6.5 hours of book time. I was gone for 10 hours door to door, left at 5, got home at 3. But, let's say an hour of dry time or hour of wait time before a ride, and then the hour home. So that's 2 hours off. And then let's say 30 minutes wasted because I went the wrong way on the exit ramp and I had to go all the way back to Micanopy. That was like 8 miles down. I come back up 2 exits. So that was a solid 20-30 minutes lost right there. And then you add another 30-40 minutes, so like 10 minutes here, 15 minutes of break time, smoking a cigarette, taking a leak, drinking a Red Bull, stretching, doing some jumping jacks. But either way, here I am in Orlando. It is 6:45 at night, and I was not expecting to be here. Went to lunch with a very good dear friend of mine. I love her so much. Kayla, if you hear this or watch this, hey baby, here's their what do they call those shout outs to my homegirl Kayla, one of my best friends. But I told her, I was like, nah man, I'm super beat, I didn't get much sleep. I cut some of the yard today, but I got a $6 tab. I said, well, maybe I can make a few bucks on the way home from lunch. Did, and then I was like, all right, maybe I'll try a little bit more just to stay in the area. But a fare came in. It was like $73, $75 to come into the airport. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's just do it. So here I am. And now I'm tired. I just chugged a Red Bull. Taking a second. Here I am at the cell phone lot B, which I did not want to be at. And I always make that mistake of going to the wrong cell lot, because this one's packed. There's the Dunkin' over here, the gas station. I like the other one because it's just the cell lot in the waiting area. But instantly pulling in, getting to this, I start cursing this guy out, man. I'm trying to turn in. He's pulling out of his spot, but he's got this little itty bitty blue Hyundai, and like I'm cutting in, so here's the lanes. I'm coming in, and yeah, I'm at an angle because you would think he sees the truck coming in, he would just make a right through the parking lot, but instead he makes a left and hits me. He didn't hit me, but heads right into me. And usually drivers, you come out, you come in, you do the rotation, and everything works, and I could back in, whatever. But then he wouldn't move. So now instantly, that clickbait rage of mine, man, I rolled down my window. I was like, yo, you speak English? I was like, move the fucking car 5 fucking feet, bro. And he's like, well, I was like, motherfucker, you're in the smallest car of the fucking lot, bro. Move the fucking steering wheel 2 degrees to the right. You got 3 feet on the front on my side and 3 feet to the curb. Like, just go straight, bro. Give me like a foot on your back end, dog. And he's just like, and of course I'm yelling, so he doesn't want to do anything. And then of course this dumbass fucking bitch starts saying it. So obviously I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. She's like, oh no, don't. I was like, oh, now you want to say something. Now would you want to get out? No, I don't want to. Then move the fucking car, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? Like, all you gotta do is drive up 3 feet and you're good, bro. Like, literally, that's it. And then finally the woman cop jumped out of her truck, ran over, and then had to guide him. Like, he had all the space in the world, bro. And it's like, look, I was already in the turn. When you decided to come out of that spot. So the fact that you're trying to be a dick because what? I'm blocking that exit of the thing because I'm coming in and you wanted to come. You saw me coming in. You could have made the fucking right, but no. You wanted to meet me at that line. You didn't have to do that. So go fuck yourself, right? So I'm in Orlando. I'm at the airport. And now I'm like, all right, do I wait and try to grab something from the airport or just get out of the airport? And the hard thing about the airport is usually the queues instantly put you into a waiting queue. Once you get in, you have to go to the waiting lots. I don't like to do that. So my hack is I'll turn off the apps and I'll run through the terminals and just kind of do the roundabout, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times, and see if I can't get a ride. Uber won't let you do that because as long as you're on airport property, it instantly puts you into a queue. Queues are the worst thing to do when you're at the airport because they put you in line with all the other rideshare, and I understand it, trying to organize it, but it doesn't work for you because you end up waiting hours. I did that once 2 years ago, and I waited an hour and I was like number 70 something in line to get a fare. I don't even remember where that fare took me, but so you end up waiting, and that's time that you could be on the road driving or at least circling. Lyft is a little easier. Lyft, depending on where you're at in the airport, it'll put you into the queue, so then I have to turn off the app, wait a few minutes, drive a little bit to find another section where it won't put me in the queue, and then jump back online, and then usually I can grab a ride as I'm circling through the terminal, which is the best thing to do because then you can just grab your person and because I'm usually waiting on the people who are coming out and getting those cabs as they're leaving the airport or leaving baggage claim. So I'm sitting here right now, just calmed down, smoking a cigarette. This little old Asian lady came over, asked for cigarettes, so we were talking, trying to help her out with her app because she's driving. It had her in the queue waiting 35 minutes. She's like, I don't want to wait for the 35 minutes. I was like, just cancel that ride. I was like, don't even bother because you got to get to another lot and then you're going to be waiting. So taking a breather, trying to decide on what I want to do, but it's been a while since I've been able to take any video or upload anything. I've just been kind of just busy at the house, man, routines, working out and stuff, and I haven't driven since last week. And I did have a big video ready, but I dumped my phone onto my hard drive, and I think I put that video on the hard drive. So I only ended up coming out with the short from that. Gainesville's been good. I'm really enjoying Gainesville. So primarily where I'm at, Lower Marion County, Summerfield Villages, Florida. Gainesville is north of me an hour, and you only really have Bellevue, Ocala, and then Gainesville, which is another 30 miles past Ocala. And the thing is that in my area, Bellevue, the villages, yeah, you get some. Obviously, the lady that I picked up and brought to the airport today, her name, or I'm not gonna give you her name, but lovely old black woman from Washington D.C. We hit it off. We're playing, old. She was like, I was like, anything you want to listen to? She's like, no, I'm just some light music. I'm just doing some prayer. I was like, bet. Default Sam Cooke. She's like, are you profiling me? I was like, nah. I was like, no, not at all. I was like, soft music is I always go to my Sam Cooke. My mom brought me up on R&B and soul. Dad brought me up with disco. So I love it all, So then the song comes on. She's like, I don't think this is the original. She brings up the original. Her name is Barbara Mason. I can't remember the Yes Something is the song, but the version she showed me was amazing. So then we get to talking about originals versus covers, and then all of a sudden, Blast from the Past, I was like, man, you remember Lauryn Hill? Or actually, I couldn't remember her name at first. I was like, it was the woman, R&B singer, late 90s, early 2000s. She had the Miseducation album. She was like, oh yeah, Lauryn Hill, and Killing Me Softly. So then she's jamming out with her phone, Killing Me Softly, Roberta Flack, and then we did the Lauryn Hill version, and we're jamming. She's like, oh my god, it's the best Uber, it's the best cab ever I've taken, I'm so happy. And it was great. It was really great. So I'm happy that I had that enjoyable time coming to the airport. I'm dog tired. The thing was that I got out of lunch with my homegirl, and man, I ate a pile of wings, and we had some fries with pulled pork and cheese and Carolina barbecue on them, and all of a sudden I was amped, man. All those carbs and fats and protein, and I'm like, ooh, I could do something. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the rear for not just going home, because I am dog tired. And like I've seen online with other videos, when you're tired, you don't want to be driving. You make the mistakes. You're constantly like, you're more short-tempered. As I just said, I blew up on homie because he couldn't drive his little piece of shit out of the parking lot with all the space in the world. Fucking son of a bitch. But so here I am. I'm like, all right, I need to make a little bit of something, because if I deadhead home now, then it was all for naught. I'm not really making anything, and it was just, I just burned up gas, and I'm just putting gas back in the truck. So, which is where I really got to get on my airport rides. The hard thing is that until the airport rides or the transport kicks off, then you're kind of at the whim of just people getting Ubers and Lyfts, and it's not always the best fare. You know what I mean? So even coming to Orlando, $73, it's not totally worth it. But if I stay out here for the next couple hours and do some driving, it can be. And then I could try to like set my destination to go back to my area, come through Lake County. I might travel north into Altamont, which I've done, and then come up through Apopka, Leesburg, Tavares, Eustis, the whole nine. But either way, back to Gainesville. So Gainesville, super dope, man. First of all, never really hung out there when I was younger. I had friends that partied in Gainesville. Orlando was my stomping grounds. But man, it feels good to be up there. A lot of young folk. I mean, I'm over here like, man, I'm about to find my next wife. All these, and it's formals right now. So everybody was dapper. All the boys were in their suits. All the girls were looking, oh my God. So, yeah, and then more to come on that in general with the stories, and it's a lot, and I'm trying to gather my thoughts now. But I just needed to start a little video to have something recorded. That way I can start another one, edit it together, and then post something. But here we are. I'm about to get back on it, and we'll see where the night goes. What's up, everybody? All right, here I am. I'm back. So, it is 8:45. I've been driving now for three and a half hours. I'm trying to figure out when I picked up that first ride. Let's just say it was about 5 o'clock. So, just parked at the 7-Eleven. I just got off I-4. I'm a little southwest Orlando, which I thought I was going north. But it's all good. So here it is, going on 9 o'clock. I've done pretty good. I got $130 in the apps, and that comes out to almost $40 an hour, a little less. Let's say 35. If let's say $35 an hour. I haven't done the full math, but right around there, right? So this is the thing, right? So here I am. I'm in Orlando. I'm an hour and a half away from home. And this is where I get into trouble. And I'm assuming that so many other people who have this dilemma that I have, which is making decisions and not so much following through, but sometimes going with the flow too often. So here I am. Tomorrow's Friday, and I want to be back in Gainesville to hit those surges. I know those college kids are going to be out and about, so it should be really good money. And my goal is to be up in Gainesville by like 4 or 5 the latest, if not earlier, but we'll see how the morning goes. I didn't work out today. I did cut the grass, like I said. I do have to work out tomorrow. I've got my fucking tendonitis has been killing me. I bought out this new band. Thank God for this copper fit arm sleeve. Anyways, I digress. I gotta do some shit in the morning, and here's the thing, right? So sometimes we get caught up chasing these fares, and we're so far from home. And the problem with where I live, ain't nobody going the fuck back to where I live. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? So no matter what, I'm gonna deadhead home. Now, I am southwest Orlando, meaning if I come up and over to west a little bit, then I start hitting like Winter Park, and then I can hit Claremont. Now my goal is I am gonna leave now. I thought about it. I just went to the bathroom, just smoked a bowl, and I'm like, well, I could bang out for another few hours, and I know I could hit that 200 mark, banging around this area, because it's busy. I'll be getting at least $8-10 rides every like 15-20 minutes, which I think would be good for a few hours, another like $60-70-$80, whatever. But then it's midnight, 12:30, and then I'm not getting home till like 2:30, and then I'm up, right? Because then I'm wired, or I'm not getting good sleep, which that's how it happened today, and that's why I was so tired, and hence my snapping on that guy at the fucking parking lot. Again, we should have just went like this, the son of a bitch. Being tired, shouldn't have been on the road, and so going back to that real quick, if you're tired, if you're upset, a lot of these guys, hey, take a break, and they're right, they're absolutely right. Like, you're cognizant, you're being conscientious and aware, all that takes a toll when you're tired, especially on the road, especially when you're like, if I were to stay in where I'm at, it would have been okay. Traffic moves slow, there's not too many big places to go. Yeah, there's traffic, but everybody's kind of going the same direction. But I decided to come to Orlando. Now I'm dealing with hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, there's about 200,000 people in my area, but it's not like that when you're on the road. It feels like it because fucking old people can't drive. Anyways, but now I'm in Orlando. There's people everywhere. Tons of fucking people who don't know how to drive or can't get through. And even I, not being familiar with some of the areas, I start going a little slower. So I know I'm pissing people off. And making sure that I'm trying to. And I speed. I do speed. I have said in previous posts that I've done a lot better with my driving and being a more conscientious driver and really just cruising more. But I do speed. If I get people in the whip and I'm on a stretch, I'm gonna push it. The apps they take note of your speed limits, which kind of affects your rating, which I think is all bullshit. Like, one of the guys was saying, if it's truly a say subcontract position, then we should have and nobody should be watching over us. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Some of that can can affect rating scores, driving scores, whatever the case may be. The speeding, honestly, if I'm on I-4, I-75, fuck the app. You don't know what the fuck's going on in this road. We're all moving. Like, listen, usually I'm a 100 miles an hour guy. You know what I mean? But these days, 80, 82 miles an hour, cruise control, 77 if I'm not in a wolf pack of cars and I'm really trying to work on that gas mileage. 77 is kind of a sweet spot. That'll get me 18 to 20 miles to the gallon. And if I'm going really long, sometimes that'll jump up to like 25, 26, 27 miles to the gallon, which is incredible. That happened once on the way to Jersey and Pennsylvania when I was with an ex of mine. I fell asleep for 2 hours. We pulled over. I was thinking it's time for some gas. I looked over. We still had well over half a tank. And we had already gone I think she had driven 400 miles or some shit, all together. And we still had another 5. I was like, holy shit, those are amazing numbers. That was the first time I ever seen that fuel efficiency with my vehicle, the turbo, the V6, 3.5 liter Ford Expedition 2017 XLT, 4x4. Where was I? All right, getting home, not getting stuck. So this is the thing. I find myself in these dilemmas because I'm unsure. I'm I'm already here. I should just keep banging out, say fuck it. And granted, when I do come home in the middle of the night, it is what it is. I already know I'm not going to have a fare. I know there's no chance of grabbing a fare. If I leave now, when I finish this video and I get on that road and I work my way through Winter Park and then Claremont, that gives me better odds of grabbing people, because a lot of the times when I deadhead home, I'm trying to get home the quickest and I'm not in the mood anymore to take people. And so this is something that I'm learning for myself about when I'm driving, is making a hard decision to get home when I'm an hour or so away early enough to still want to accept rides. Because what happens is I get tired after 4 or 5 hours of sitting, driving, being aware of everything, conversation, back and forth, picking, stopping, whatever the case may be, stopping, going, you know what I mean? It can be tiring. And when you do 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, I did 14 hours a couple years ago, man. That's another story, because I broke even after 14 hours. I put so much fucking gas in the car. It was back when I was chasing every fare because I thought that's what you had to do. I didn't think about cherry picking. I didn't know about cherry picking. I wasn't watching anything online. All I know is I signed up on the apps. They gave me the go-ahead to drive, and I was like, gone. I'm out. I'm driving. Now I know better 2 years later and more informed, watching my YouTube videos, YouTube University, coming in clutch, always. Shout outs to the rideshare guys, Rider X. I just can't think of them off the top of my mind, but there's a bunch of them out there that are doing their thug thizzle, really giving us the lowdown of everything Uber, Lyft, and rideshare. So here I am, 7-Eleven. It is 10 to 9, and I'm in that position. I'm like, man, do I thug it out for a few more hours, try to make the money now? I've only used about a quarter of a tank, which is a sweet spot. You know what I mean? And the problem, and that's another thing, because now if I go ahead and drive for another few hours, I might be at a half a tank by the time I'm ready to go home, or less. And then tomorrow I'm really putting gas in the car to get up to Gainesville. And sometimes we justify when we put gas in, saying, all right, this will go towards today's, not yesterday's. I filled up, it was $100. It's $100 these days. Gas is up 100%. You know what I mean? And we're all crossing our fingers. Trump will figure this shit the fuck out, man. Oh my God, politics, Keystone Pipeline, fucking Biden administration shutting that down. But Trump's talking about building oil refineries, and I'm down. I'm down. Energy independence. If we can do it, let's do it. Anyways, I don't want to talk about politics right now, just because I'm gonna get heated, and then it's gonna be everything. It's from Iran, the fucking liberals, the feminists, and fucking women in this world, and all the bullshit. You know what I mean? Anyways, trying to figure out what to do, not chasing those numbers, giving yourself time to rest. And that's kind of the goal right now. Is I know tomorrow I need to be on top of my game tomorrow. Like tomorrow I'm going out with the intention, my goal, $400. $400. If I could do now, the last time I was in Gainesville that first night, I made almost that, and the biggest reason was I had a $63 tab. $63 take me to Williston, which is an hour and change from where I was, and then it was only 25 minutes to get to Gainesville from there. We stopped at McDonald's for 20 or so minutes. The guy gave me $15, 81 bucks to start the evening. By the time I started picking up people in Gainesville, it was 8:15, and I drove till 2 o'clock in the morning. So 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15, 1:15. So let's just say 6 hours. And $81, let's say 300, and let's just say 300. So in 6 hours, so $50 an hour I did, right? Now again, that's a big drive home. That's another drive home, an hour, 50 miles. So I gotta be ready to deadhead. Ain't nobody coming back. But my goal is to be well rested for tomorrow evening for my driving, to get up to Gainesville, to bang out. Gainesville is very tight. That college town. Everything happens downtown. There's a lot of one ways, a lot of new one ways, a lot of do not enters. Now a lot of the do not enters are only really for time during the day, so at night you're in and out regardless. But there's shit tons of cabs, there's shit tons of Lyfts and Ubers. They're everywhere. College kids everywhere. And you really gotta be on top of it, man. These kids walk out, even down here in Atlanta, this dude riding a bike. I was already crossed, and he about T-boned me on his pedal bicycle. Fucking the Negras. That's really, But any of them, honestly, any of them, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to them. Anybody on a vehicle, pedal vehicle that's not on the highway or on foot, they're not watching. It's our responsibility to watch. And I got people in whip. They're drunk. They're talking to me. They want to ride the music or play the music up, and I'm down. But I gotta be aware. So I need to be well rested, and that means I gotta get my ass home now. Like I gotta start leaving. So I just smoked. I'm gonna start heading my way. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette, give it like 10-15 minutes. When I get positioned up towards Winter Park, Claremont, I'm gonna start seeing if I can't get rides too. And this is the difficult thing. Now my goal is to try to get a ride per community, municipality, town, Winter Park to Claremont. That's the hope, but we'll see. During the day, that's feasible. A lot of people are moving back and forth between the areas. Doctors, people coming from Winter Park. I think it's Winter Park. Maybe I'm thinking Winter Garden. Maybe it's Winter Park. Forgive me, I'm unsure. But the point is, it's the best route to try to pick up rides, and during the day more people are moving around than at night. But a lot of people go to the little downtown area in Winter Park. It's absolutely beautiful over there, little shops and bars and restaurants. It's a nice area, you know what I mean? Families, the whole nine. So last time I took a ride, I picked up a fare from Winter Park to Claremont. It was a man. I picked him out actually at his house, with his two sons, and he was going back to the Ford dealership in Claremont. And so that, here we go. That's not gonna happen at 9 o'clock at night. But we'll see. I'm gonna just work my way home. I'm gonna just try to ease off the pedal. I'm not gonna try to burn up too much gas. But I did make $130 on a night where I wasn't planning to come out. And even though I'm tired and I snapped and cursed the motherfucker out for not knowing how to drive, and then I cursed his bitch out for opening her fucking mouth. Got my Red Bull. Got my big gulp Coke Zero, because I'm sugar free, baby. Took a second, smoked a cigarette, talked with the Asian woman, helped her with her phone, got back on it, got out of the airport, and that was my first hard no for the day. I thought about it, maybe running through the terminals, trying to catch a ride like I was talking earlier, but I was like, nope. I got out, drove north about 15-20 minutes, and then got back to it. So even truthfully in that time, 4 hours, 130, it's even less than that. I'd say 3.5 hours. You know what I mean? I made that. So But right now it's about distance, gas, money spent. Today's been difficult because it's, man, the dollar a mile, at the very least dollar a mile that I'm trying to get, isn't happening. I've been taking a lot of like 90-cent miles, but that's when I say, okay, it's not so much about the miles, it's also about the time. If I can get these done in time, and if I get, I had a 6, a 5, a 3, all and then another 8 or 9, so that's 20 something in the hour. You know what I mean? My goal is to be, if I can't get the money per mile that I want, then you gotta really work the system to make the right hourly that you want, that's worth it for you, because then you can make up a lot of difference on that regard also. So yeah, wish me luck. I know by the time you guys see this, it's gonna be gone, so it's like, whatever. I'm too stoned to make a joke anyways, but all right, signing out. And before I get on the road, I just looked at Google Maps. Winter Garden, not Winter Park. I knew Winter Park was wrong. Winter Garden. So I'm about to set the destinations to get to Winter Garden, and I'm just gonna start driving that way, and I'm gonna see if I can't pick something up. All right, y'all. It is 12:36 in the morning. I just walked in the house. I got this to-go food that my bestest friend in the world, Miss Kayla, boxed up for me because she didn't want to take it home. I'm gonna beat this up. I'm starving. So I made a post about making sure you have snacks, being prepared. I did not have snacks, but here's the thing. After lunch, at the county line for some smoked wings, we shared some pulled pork over fries with cheese and Carolina barbecue. Beat up an 8-piece of wings. I tell you what, I had mad energy, bro. That food hit me. It was like life. I was like, bam. So I think I'd mentioned it. Came out, picked up a quick fare. Figured, why not? Got my ones to the airport. So I don't even know where I was going with this. I was so dumb. So I'm like, oh. Okay. Last video was at 7-Eleven. Town hopping. I was gonna try to make some money on the way home. That's right. So it's 1:45. Well, like I said, about 20 minutes to 1. Now I didn't want to be home at 2. I'm not home at 2. I'm home probably about 40 minutes later than I really wanted to. I wanted to be home at 12. I did pick up 2 rides. Picked up one to Winter Garden. It wasn't much. It was only like almost $9. But it was fine because I was already on my way. From Winter Garden, took a break, grabbed something to drink, went to the bathroom, smoked a bowl, and I figured, all right, I got about 20 minutes before I hit Claremont. I'm gonna chill. Entering Claremont, threw on the app, bam, got another ride there. Now that one, well, it wasn't in Claremont. Here's the thing. It took me to Groveland, which was further west than I wanted to go because I was going to come up through Mineola into Leesburg and then work my way into Leesburg. And, but I don't know. It was almost $14 and it was on the way. And it's still a position where I could just get home. It was in a spot where it's like, well, I'm in Groveland, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I could make my way back up towards Leesburg or just go ahead and bite the bullet and hop. Go straight north and just hop on the turnpike, which I did end up getting on the turnpike, down just below Leesburg, about a mile or two before Leesburg. Last fare, it was gonna bring me back a bit. It was kind of like 8-9 miles back, and I knew better than to do it, but it was like $18. It was like definitely less than $1 a mile, but again, it works my way north, and I was like, okay, I can deal with that, you know what I mean? But here I am. It took me damn near, I don't know, man, I was like 18 minutes out, and end up on some dirt road like a mile back. Thank God it wasn't like a beat up dirt road, you know what I mean? So I was able to like haul ass down it. Um, but here I am a mile in, and I get this text, "Oh, you got to turn around," and I'm like, I was like, it's got me going straight to your house on a dirt road, no? And and all they say is like, no, you got to turn around. And then they said make it right back on 571. And dude, I'm already a mile into the woods, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the woods, like the woods. You know what I'm saying? Like the road was good enough to know that it wasn't like ding 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 ding. You know, Deliverance for those of you who don't know. I think was that Deliverance? Ding 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 ding. Well, either way, but Burt Reynolds, you know, him and two other hillbillies. I think they take these people off canoe, and I think they will do all sorts of Sodom and Gomorrah type shit to them. I think. So here I am. I'm coming back out, and I'm like, man, that going back, not only added the mile to get back to the road, but then to go the way it added a 5.6 extra fucking miles. Now, again, I hesitated when I took the ride, but I justified it by I was still in the mood to work, and since my plan was working, I said, okay, it'll put me back towards up near Tavares. You know, it's a little further out than I wanted to be, but essentially I would have been back in the area that I could have made at least a couple more rides. But man, I was like, when I saw that 5.6 miles, I was gonna add like another 10 fucking minutes. Hell nah. So I just went ahead, hit problem with the route, and then canceled it. And then beefy home, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna hop on the turnpike and just get home. And that's what I did. Now I did get to Wildwood, and when I got into Wildwood, I put my destination filter for home just in case. And you know, usually it's, I don't know, 12:30, 12 o'clock. Somebody coming home late from a bar, somebody working, maybe somebody from the poker room down at Oxford Downs. So in terms of the plan, it worked. I, for the most part, stuck to it. And you know, like I said, I have sometimes making the decision to being firm in my choice to stick to whatever plan I have. It worked. I'm still kind of going back and forth, right? Because I guess the reason why I don't use the destination filters too much on the apps is because, you know, like with Lyft or Uber, you only get 2 times to use them. And you got to stay on them. Because if you end it at some point because you're like, actually, I don't want to go that way, then it takes one of the times. You know, it's like taking a wish away. You get 2 wishes, you know. So it's kind of like you got to use them sparingly unless you're going to specifically stick to that. And I guess my thing is that, you know, you could do like the flexible route instead of the fastest route, but it can take you doggone everywhere. And sometimes it works against you, you know, and it'll just keep putting you places you might not want to be. So what I did this time, it was more about, I had the destination filter on one point, I think, heading into Winter Garden. Both times I had destination filter on. I think when I got to Claremont, when I booted back up the app, I think it just shot me to Groveland. I think it just already knew I was heading that way, and I was probably one of the only people in the area anyways. Because it's kind of like you're out there. So for the most part, the plan worked. I town hopped, so I got to Winter Garden, you know, $9, whatever. Claremont into Groveland, $14. Now that last one was a crapshoot, didn't work out. So you know, I still got my deadhead home, but just to, you know, yeah, it definitely worked. So here it is, a Thursday. I haven't even done the numbers. My bad. Okay, so I just looked at the numbers, 175 and change for the time out. Now, let's say an hour coming home with nothing. I really can't even remember when I took that first ride. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and say it was about 5 o'clock. and I guess it was about an hour and 20 to get into the airport, I guess. Because by the time I was cursing homeboy out in the parking lot for not just fucking pivoting, just pivot. You know, for all the white people out there who, you know, grew up watching Friends, that scene where they're trying to get the couch up the stairs to get into the apartment, and they're just like, just pivot, pivot, pivot. Yes, that's like, oh, motherfucker, just pivot. Yeah, I gotta ask for forgiveness for that one. I pulled all the stops, but I just like sunk my fangs into him and just dropped some venom on his ass, bro. I was like, you son of a bitch. Yeah, my guilt on that one. That's gonna eat me up for a while. But anyways, all in all, okay. 12:45, 11:45, say 11:30 when I was out there. Oh man, so working hours, I guess 6. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, drop that down. I'd say there was at least 45 minutes of downtime when it was like off for 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there. So I'll take 45 minutes off of that. Um, what did I say again? Oh man, I'm beat. 175. Let's mark it at like 45, 155. Let's mark it at like 5.5 hours. So that puts me roughly 30 bucks an hour. I gotta do the math. I'll sit down and I'll do that when I hit the couch and turn the tube on so I can knock out. But either way, here it is. Point blank, stuck to the plan. Plan worked. I was able to town hop. Instead of using destination, I just rolled in. I did have, well, no, I lied. Okay, I did have destination at some points, and then also at some points I just rolled in and then hit the app. So both worked, no matter what. I made a little bit of money trying to make it home. I'm glad I left when I did. What was it, like 9:10 when I finally rolled out of that parking lot. Because now I'm home, I can relax. So, you know, I'll pass out a little earlier. I'll get up. I got to get my workout in. Definitely, because I didn't work out today. I'm going to cut the grass. And then Gainesville. So, all in all, 175 bucks. Say 5.5 hours. Not bad. Roughly 30 bucks an hour. I guess a little less. All right. Or right around 30 bucks, I guess. But not bad. Ate up half a tank. Now, out of that half a tank, let's take off the first 15 miles and the last 40. So I put up 200 miles. So let's just call it a cool 150 miles. That's about a third of a normal tank for me. I got a lot of highway driving in. So with the highway driving, my mileage went up. So I filled it. Mileage went down after last night's trip to Gainesville. It was a rough one. So when I filled up the tank today, top her off, I usually go like an extra $1 on that shit. I know how much my baby can hold, but she's also spewed out at me too. So I gotta, you gotta be careful. So mind yourself, when you're putting that extra gas in the tank, you overflow that valve, and then you're gonna get gas everywhere. I've done that plenty of times. Anyways, so I don't know where gas is now. That's a third of a tank. I don't know, 30 bucks, $35 worth of gas, overall. So 145 true take after I drop gas in it tomorrow. But right now I'm just trying to count numbers and get the numbers up, and then I'll worry about the numbers on gas later, and then especially when it comes to maintenance. But like I've stated previously in my beginning posts, all of that will come in its due time. Right now I'm just trying to hone in on this. So one cool thing is I'm gonna bring it to my office space real quick. It's my like office space / like the bedroom furniture slash this is where my clothes are slash office and slash storage. So, anyways, office space is small. It's definitely, listen, I'm a minimalist these days. So, trying to keep the vibe going from my spot in New York to the house that I was in for 5 years and now this itty bitty ass 2 bedroom trailer that I got. So, either way, desk, laptop, diplomas on the wall. Usually I would have a ginormous bookshelf with all my hundreds of my books on them, but 250-gallon totes, and they're like a fucking 100 pounds each of books in there, and then like English shit, my stuff on the ground. Either way, so here it is, my desk. Got this right here, bam, right. Got my shit, you know, and then I gotta clean this up. But either way, this is what I want to show you right here. I don't know if you can see it. I saw this, I heard this on a fucking reel, Jerry. He said, focus on what you're doing, get better at what you're doing. Everything else is a complete waste of time. And dude, when I heard that, it was a little longer, but essentially he just kind of repeats what he started off with. But the thing is I don't know what the hell I was doing. I think I was cooking dinner, and that came on, and I left that on repeat for like, I kid you not, like 30 minutes, because I was like, man, I needed to hear that. I've had so many ideas running. My whiteboard was full of my junk removal, my mobile detailing. I had to take a snapshot so I could remember everything where it was. You know, everything with the driving, the Uber, the Lyft, the ideas of my CDLs, the pricing on, you know, going back to school. If I wanted to do the CDL classes, $3,800 over at Marion Tech in Ocala. But like, I had a lot of pans in the fires in terms of what I might want to start, and then there's things that didn't work out. And not since I say that didn't work out, it was just kind of like I slept on, like with the junk removal, right? Like I got my little trailer, and I hesitated with some things because I got a small trailer. It's a very small axle, and the weight limit altogether, just the fact is, it's a small trailer. And after I did the math between the tires, ratings, and whatever that axle might be, and the weight of the trailer, it's only like 500 pounds. I really can only put it like 1,000 pounds safely to 1,200. You know what I mean? And which is fine because I can get some, you know, small jobs done, no problem. You know what I mean? But like when I did the work with Mark, you know, we threw 10, 12 bags of cement back there. I mean, that's already 720 pounds. Yeah, 60-pound bags. So that was 720 plus the piece of equipment. Let's give that like, I don't know, it took two of us to hoist it. I don't know, so let's just say 80 pounds. Right? That's 800 pounds right there. And I'm like, now granted, you know, you're not, listen, weight adds up quick. The point is, let me get to the skinny because I'm on an on ramp, whatever. Anyways, the gist is that I was gonna take the money that I had. I was gonna take some savings. I was gonna take the money from the Mustang and then invest that into a new trailer, a larger trailer. I was already looking at them online. I priced one. I saw one down in Coleman, brand new Triple Crown, for like 1,700 bucks, and that was perfect. That was in my price range. It was a 6x10 foot, you know, had the closing ramp on the back, brand new trailer. I was like, man, I could do a lot with that. I could mod it out. And then I was going to take a few $100 and put it in marketing, magnets for the truck, whatever, and start rolling around. The dilemma was because I've been kind of on my laid back, nonchalant shit, just kind of like going with it. Well, that money went to bills, right? So, and that's when it was like, oh shit, I got to get to something. You know what I mean? Because at this rate, like, I had to tap into savings for brakes on the truck, and then also for getting the Intoxilocks removed off the Mustang before I sold it. So, and my goal was to not have to use any savings for daily necessities, and I'm on that cusp right now. And I was like, ugh. So, you know, it's between hesitating or not taking the right measures to build the foundation to get what I needed done is where I'm at is why I'm where I'm at. Not to say that's bad. Not to say that's bad. Because if there's one thing about me, I pulled the trigger on a lot in my life. You know, in New York, aside from selling weed, and that was legit business. I did that for years, and I had my gummy business on lock with my homegrown homeboy. They got married. The chemists, there were chefs that I knew. They started making gummies. We had this huge gummy business going on. We got distillate out of Colorado. It was big. And I had my cleaning service, RR Cleaning and Services. You know what I mean? I used to run around the New York City with my little pail, my bucket, with mop, broom, chemicals, whatever I needed to go clean apartments. You know, and I'll get out there and do it. You know what I mean? And you know, and even with the mobile detailing, the idea was twofold. I get that one trailer, I could run both of those. You know what I mean? Because there's two birds with one stone, and that stone being the trailer. And then the writing. The writing has been very slow. Oh my God. I still haven't picked any topics that I want to write about. I was supposed to pick five and maybe bring them down to three, but five was and now I have gotten some journal entries in, and they're all well. I've gotten some journal entries in, and some, if not most of them, have some relation to Bible study. So I've been somewhat productive there. Every day I fail, and every day I try anew. But I have been trying to catch up lately on some Bible study, watching a lot of Wes Huff, amazing theologian, born in the Middle East. He's with the apologists, Canadian apologists or whatever, but gotta watch him. Amazing. I don't even want to get into it because I can't even explain everything, but you want to know some shit, Wes Huff is your guy, and he's easy to look at. Look at. He is easy on the eyes. He's a good-looking man. He's also easy to listen to, and he's so profoundly intelligent and deep with his theology and the understanding of it. And but I'll cover some of that later. Anyways, yeah. So I need to wrap this up here. I'm starving. I need to eat that food, and then I need to knock the fuck out or put the tube on. Anyways, so a lot of things have been going on, and not to say I failed at some things, but when I heard that quote from Seinfeld, and focus on what you're doing, get better at what you're doing, everything else is a waste of time. The one thing that was constant since my firing, right, and my leaving Havana Adventure Club, has been my driving, even though it hasn't been it was consistent there. It was consistently going out on certain days in my area. I guess it's slowed down when gas is up, so subconsciously I don't go out as much because I just don't want to have a bad night and then waste a ton of gas, which was kind of last night in Gainesville. But I needed to test the market. I needed to test the market in the middle of the week. I needed what it feels like. And well, you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. And two, scared money don't make money. So you got to spend some money to make some money. And that's where my focus has been, in lieu of everything, all the other ideas that I've had. So hearing that quote from Jerry Seinfeld, it really helped me put a little perspective into what I need to be doing. And which reminds me of a quote that I've used in a speech of mine, which I think eventually I'm going to figure out how to chop it up, YouTube, as MP, whatever. I'm gonna post my speech that I gave it was the welcome speech for the Gutman alumni graduation 2018, and I use a quote by Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas about the clarity of obligation. I spoke about this period of time in college where I was kind of over it, or I wasn't sure if I needed to come home to help family with business and so on and so forth. But the quote was essentially, understanding that, when you sit down to prioritize the obligation that you have to yourself, there's a clarity with that, and then things tend to fall into place. And as somebody who believes in the Lord, our Lord Jesus in heaven, and there's a purpose and a will. We're not to know it, or He'll show it to us if we really truly lean in and I guess I just fail too much to really know it. But my trust is in him, and a lot of the times it's wherever he needs me to be is where I'm at. I just have to keep my shit together long enough to do whatever needs to be done. So the driving has been where I've had my focus overall, all the ideas aside, the driving is where I'm like, right, that's where the YouTube video that I've here started now, the Daily Drive 84, talking about covering just aspects of life on the road, some of how to like get the hacks in, kind of what you're doing, learning the markets and how I'm learning at the same time, being prepared, as other people online talk, like the 3Ps, planning, patience, and positioning, and for me, just in general, side note, it's difficult because I'm in an area that's far from the major hubs. So that's the struggle bus that I'm on right now. Um, but anyways, yeah. So focus on what you're doing now. Get better at what you're doing. Everything else is a waste of time. So it kind of just helped me to realize that okay, if I'm gonna be driving as my main mode of income, then that's where it needs to be. My sister's always been a big influence and help in my life, so she has been dropping my name online and the customers. I've been reaching out, created a little collage with the pictures of my truck, the front and the side. I guess I could do an inside shot. Um, and then my face driving, my shades on, looking good, looking fly. But airport transport, call me, Raul. Here's my number. Um, I'm going to add to that. I think something I'm going to do is start doing like private driving. I'm going to see if I can't market that for myself. I'll figure out, I don't know, a price point for like a 5 hour spread for somebody in town, wherever you want to go. Let's do it. And but the idea is that's based on what I'm doing for income currently, and that's where I need to keep my focus. Um, Today was a good day. It started off rough because I was tired. I shouldn't have gone out, but I had so much energy after eating. I cursed the motherfucker out, wallowed in a little self pity and guilt over that. Helped an Asian woman, gave her a cigarette, got on the road, made a little bit of money, stuck to a game plan, got home earlier, a little later than I wanted to, but over an hour earlier than the last bit, the maximum time that I didn't want to be home, that I did not want to be home. Um, Deadheaded, meaning coming back with no money in the back seat. It's just always a given. It's just I always have to factor that in, no matter what, and it is what it is. I'm charging it to the game. It's a part of me going to find money and make my money. Um, so yeah, all around today, great day. Again, shout outs to you, my best friend Kayla. I love you so much. Thank you for having lunch with me. County Line, shout out to you. My boy Nigel, running it, GM over at County Line. Yes, sir. So happy to see you, man. It's been years since I've seen you. Amazing time catching up and hearing about your life. I love you guys. And everybody who's going to watch this, the few of you who do, and the thousands and millions and billions who don't or won't, I love you guys too, which is why I'm doing this. And I need the outlet. So it's twofold. Two birds, one stone. There's the stone. Anyways, thank you. And if you made it through The Last of Us, thanks for watching. This will probably be edited. Or I'm just going to throw it up. Whatever. Either way, I'm going to eat. This is Easy Baby 84 coming at you with the Daily Drive.